And welcome back to Daily Wrap. We're continuing our conversation on Hillary Clinton's email problems. Clinton supporters are quickly coming out to the former Secretary of State's aid. Media Matters for America, a liberal media watchdog group founded by Clinton friend David Brock, posted the following on their website and in an email, because they're not advocates or anything. Quote, myths and facts on Hillary Clinton's email and reports of top secret materials that reads, fact. None of the emails sent to Clinton were labeled as classified or top secret. Wow, there's some breaking news. Fact, emails originated in State Department system and questions about retroactive classification would have occurred regardless of Clinton's server use. Fact, experts have debunked any comparison between Clinton's emails use and David Petraeus' crime. So sure they have. Fact, IG referral to Justice Department was not criminal and FBI isn't targeting Clinton herself. Fact, David Brock makes $250,000 a year and yet gets tax-free exempt status for Media Matters. Is the Clinton team in full panic mode right now? And if they're not, should they be Amy Holmes?
I think they are. And Joe Trippi, Howard Dean's former campaign manager, is quoted as saying, while the public may not be following the details of the email scandal, Hillary's trust numbers are tanking. And that's a real danger to her, not only because it puts her in a bad light with voters, but it encourages her competitors to jump in the race.
Exactly I think it's really interesting that Robbie Mook, the campaign manager for Hillary Clinton, put out a 6-page memo today that pretty much said the Democrats going to win no matter who it is, so don't worry too much. Where he talked about the Electoral College and the numbers and the fact that if the minorities go the way that they expect, that it really doesn't matter who the candidate is, which is a real strong endorsement for Hillary. I think that they are panicking. I think that a lot of the legalities in that email that you just read are incorrect. This is very similar to Petraeus. It's very similar, as our last guest said, to John Deutsch, who was the CIA director under Clinton, who did something similar and was pardoned but lost his security clearance. A president without security clearance is a major problem.
Well, yeah. That whole Media Matters thing is a little more complicated. In general, I agree with you. Most of it I could look at and say, no, I know that's wrong. Right. But there are a few things. It is not necessarily so that it is the same situation as Petraeus, because Petraeus was convicted of knowingly communicating it. She could argue, we'll see, that she did not knowingly do it. Who knows?
But it's just spoke with Morgan at the
similar to Deutsch.
It is similar to Deutsch. I think that's accurate.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about what Media
as
Matters
Secretary of State, as we were just discussing with Morgan, she had a responsibility to be able to identify classified information, marked or unmarked.
I agree with that.
And as our former senator from New York State, she would certainly have been trained to understand that a satellite image in her email is obviously classified.
Especially not just a satellite image, but one that came off of a TK.
Yeah,
yeah, there's absolutely right.
So let's go back to the beginning, right? When she decided to do this,
right,
knowing that in a couple of years she's running to be president of the United States. Did she think she would get away with having her own server on her property? Did you talk to some lawyers and they'd say, oh, don't worry about it because other Secretary of State's done it before you? What do you think the thought process was?
I don't think it's lawyers or anything else. I think you have to always put these situations into real life. And you see, and as crime so often develops out of real life scenarios where nobody intended at the outset to do anything wrong. I think she probably established the personal email service the same reason so many people have. Amy had pointed out during the break, to avoid Republicans looking at her emails. I think that's true. You know, there's a lot of reasons why you do that. It's not right, but a lot of people have done it. But what happens is...
You think it was illegal at the time?
Yes.
No. I still maintain it is not illegal. It's just that was not illegal. They can do that under the guidelines. But what happens is, as time goes on, you get sloppy, you get careless. All of a sudden, a classified document goes, it's one, who's ever going to know? And they get sloppy about it. Now, what amazes me about Mrs. Clinton, as you said, she knew she was going to run for president. She knows she's a Clinton. There's not a lot of room for getting sloppy in those two situations. And secondly, the moral of the story is just do it the right way from the outset, and you don't have these problems.
But my problem with that is the arrogance, because both John Deutsch, who was under Clinton, and Sandy Berger were actually prosecuted for this. So it's not as if it wasn't something, but for something very similar.
Sandy Berger stuffed the classified document.
But for Deutsch, it was actually having information on his computer, so they should have known, and it should have been in the forefront of her mind.
I agree.
Here's the thing, Amy. What we've learned now about this election season in general, is that Hillary Clinton, put the email thing aside for a second, really has no margin for error. Because what's the theme? Anti-establishment and somebody who's authentic. And guess who's the polar opposite of both? Hillary Clinton. So now you put this on top of that, and it's hard to imagine her winning, reversing this, and somehow getting this enthusiasm.
She has never been a natural politician. She has never been, you know, she's never been an easily likable character on the national stage. But I disagree with Rick when it comes to her thought process, that I think that she thought running for president and being a Clinton meant she could be sloppy because voters aren't going to pay close attention. This is just going to be a Beltway story.
Rick, final word?
We'll never know, and he could be right. I think it happens differently. I am curious of the campaign manager stupid comment that he made, because it does matter who runs.
Okay, share your thoughts on Hillary Clinton by going to newsmaxtv.com/comments, newsmaxtv.com/comments. Let us know. Dr. Ben Carson speaks out against Planned Parenthood. Stay tuned.